live, I believe.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome inside to the Hennessy Performance League broadcast booth. We get a chance to call the second Gran Turismo race of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, if you guys missed out on the accidental 2 streams, then you guys know that we had a phenomenal battle between the Ghost and Joker. It was phenomenal, it was incredible, and of course, surprising, it was none other than Fire Slayer finishing third. So yet, congratulations to those three, and now we get a chance to have our second race. But yeah, I'm not just up in here alone. This is Gr.3, of course. I'm joined alongside an amazing driver, an incredible driver in the Xfinity series, and yet, of course, a driver who you saw in the first race and pretty much had a rough night. But either way, though, he's going to get a chance to make up for that by getting a chance to call this race with me tonight. Please help me welcome in current Xfinity Series driver, Mr. T-Bird. T-Bird, welcome back to the booth, man.
Glad to be here for another week of Gran Turismo action now at the Daytona road course after being on the oval last week for the exhibition. And the first race of the official points-paying season off and running as we're currently in qualifying for the Gr.3 cars.
Absolutely, and of course, you talked about it, during the exhibition style. We seen you get a chance to have a little glimpse. So, pretty much out of this group, was there anyone out of this second group that caught your eye? And by the way, I do want to get a chance to, before you answer my question, I do got to say, I do love Riley's scheme, the 48 scheme, very beautiful, homage to none other than Jimmy J himself, Jimmy Johnson. But you got a chance to see the exhibition race. Was there anyone from this second group alone that caught your eye that you think is going to have a great race tonight?
I really like how the McLarens have performed on this game in both Group 3 and Group 4. You saw them up front a lot in the oval race last week. So we're looking at Fusion Autosport. That is Fistbuster and Eric's Moose. We'll go on Moose right now in the beautiful black and gold fire scheme right there, driving around the track. That'll be a nice one to look at this evening for sure. But also, I did also like Team SLP with Blade and Allen. They were working together nicely last week. I think they will continue that this week with the Hyundai's crew. And also, 2 very fast racers on here. They've had experience in the past with Gran Turismo, so I think they'll have something to say as well.
Of course, and of course, we're going to get a chance to wait for everyone. So it looks like we do have our current top 10, I believe. I don't know if that's correct. Sikkim in first, Cosplay in second, Useless Cat, I believe, and third.
That would be Nicholas Latifi.
Okay. I'm still trying to get used to everything. So Nicholas is in third. Okay, so thank you there. We're still trying to get used to that. We're getting used to all these different varieties, and of course, we got a chance to experience the first race, and of course, it was intense and it was phenomenal. Is there any driver out of this field alone that you're keeping your eye on tonight?
Well, right now, just the early, like halfway through qualifying now, as we've hit 9 on the dot, race going at 9:05, obviously, and Freedom Flyer with a blazing lap, 7/10 quicker than the rest of the field at the moment, but also a very experienced driver in, you see him on here, a sinker, that is Sikkim ABC, very experienced Gran Turismo driver as well in the Porsche, and could be a factor tonight as well.
And of course, right now, currently it is Freedom Flyer with the fastest lap with a 1:46. Really good lap from him. He's currently down the pit road. And of course, we're going to keep an eye on the rest of the field. You see him, the Soaps running in that beautiful scheme that you saw Fireside running up. He pretty much finished top 3. And one thing I love about this game is that we get a chance to experience the pit road stuff like we saw in the first race. Excuse me, we get a chance to experience a lot of different stuff as we see Hayes Clay currently driving with a lot of sparks right behind him. So, and as we are currently in qualifying, what is going to be the biggest strategy when it comes to qualifying, especially if you want to get a chance to be on pole of the second race but pretty much the first race with these cars.
Well, I think personally, it'll be very interesting what people do. We've seen a lot of people just back out once they finish a lap, but there will be one or two that decide to take it just down pit road and not take fuel to get a lower fuel run and maybe get faster that way, rather than just getting fresh tires and having to fill back up with a back out. So we'll see how those drivers compare as we come down in the final closing moments. Probably about two more flying laps you could, about one more flying lap you could fit in if you start within the next minute or so.
Absolutely, and of course we're going to be taking a look at all things Gran Turismo. This is going to be a very fun night. It's going to be a very exciting night, and of course, you know, we definitely do appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy nights or busy days, whatever you guys, or whatever time you guys are watching us from. We definitely do appreciate you. Code Red Do, T-Bird up in the booth for this incredible race as get ready to come up. Of course, everyone's currently on lap 3, so right now is looking to be Freedom Flyer is going to be taking the pole, unless if Nicholas very, very close. Very, very close. So we'll definitely have to see from there.
Yeah, he got within 0.2 of a second with that last lap of Freedom Flyer. So that, looking at the moment to be your front row between those two, the two Jaguars teammates actually. They are teammates. For 79 Motorsports, owned by Captain Dead Dad, who I believe was supposed to be in the Group 4 race, but
yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Captain Dead Dad will not be a part of this race. But either way, though, we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. We're going to keep keeping our eyes on a lot of things here, as here soon we're about to get ready to start. Here in less than 1 minute, and we'll get a chance to go green. And of course, I think we'll have no pace car unless Riley is going to be the honorary pace car driver. We'll see.
I believe that is what they're doing. If it's the same from the Group 4 races where they have Riley being pace car, so they'll get a lap to set up, and we could go through the start lineup once we get it official in a moment right here.
And of course, everyone is currently on their last stops, last laps until we get the field together, and we'll get a chance to go green here very soon. And of course, you know what, T-Bird, we're going to be experiencing a lot of different ideas. What is the one thing that these drivers are going to have to be very concerned with here at the road course? Because, you know, like I said before in the first stream, we're not at the oval. We're pretty much technically at the road course part of the Daytona International Speedway, Super Speedway. And what do you think that these drivers are going to have to be aware of?
A lot of this is coming down, especially in the infield section, to throttle control. You have to be really on point there, or else you'll send your car spinning. I figured out the hard way, the very hard way, I should say. As actually, we got a new pole sitter, and at the last moment, it is Sikkim, as we were talking about, with a 46.275, fastest lap of the session. And we have been out of the lobby. There's...
Wow. We'll have to find the lobby if that's the case. Don't know what's happening, but okay.
Alright, they're saying that there's 15 supposed to be racing, so I don't know, so I believe that is the current issue, is that one of us is going to have to watch and comment.
I will watch from, you already got it on there, so you're going to have to join. You're going to have to join them.
Yep. Do I have Sikkim? We're going to have the blue screen in just a moment, so I can make sure we get connected to this lobby right here. Excuse us. Alright, give us a few moments. We're back on something to where we could actually be talking heard, so as we'll have to reset things here quickly. And so looking at that, it'll seemingly turn more into a practice session if anything there, so but we'll see what they do, if they're going to count that with backtracking or not. We're still not. Up. And now we are going to be loading into the race from the booth. Sorry for the technical. Oh boy. Yeah. So we apologize for the slight delay. Now we could go forward and then look at the rest of the teams and also perhaps the schedule ahead of the season in the meantime. So we talked about 1448 Racing, the one driver of Riley in that beautiful 48 Ford GT. Fusion Autosport, we also mentioned earlier, Fistbuster and Eric's Moose driving in the McLarens. FIWB Motorsports and the Mazdas, Masopes and Jojo Siwa, the two drivers there. And then you have Jalt Racing, or J-Alt Racing, I should probably say, with Steezy and Jackson Altman, the owner of that team, driving there in Group 3. Team SLP, we mentioned earlier as ones to watch with Blade and LD Allen. 79 Motorsports, also ones to watch with two very fast drivers in Freedom Flyer and Nicholas Latifi. The KS Crew Racing team, owned by yours truly, with the drivers of Clay and Cushnight. And then finally, Team Porsche, we saw earlier with Sikkim and Hale State driving. And a look at the full schedule ahead of the season. So we have the Daytona road course this week, and in the next couple of weeks we have Laguna Seca, a very historic track, historically the IndyCar season finale, as well as a huge race for the endurance guys. And then Mount Panorama, the old Bathurst 1000 location. In 2 weeks' time, and then we have Suzuka out in Japan, Dragon Trail, the one fictional track for the season, on May 9th. The 16th, the week after, we go to the Red Bull Ring for race number 6. Race 7 at Monza, the Temple of Speed. The Nürburgring on the Gr.3 circuit follows that for race number 8. And then race number 9, Le Mans, the historic French circuit. And we finish out the season at everyone's favorite closer, Interlagos in Sao Paulo. I believe it's Sao Paulo, Brazil. I believe I have that right. I got roasted by my friends one time for messing up the location of Interlagos, so I should try to actually be accurate about it this time. No chiming in with a little bit of pain with the yes attached onto it. So looks like drivers right now apologies, as a bit of issues going on, technical on my side of things for the quick blue screen, that is all. But no, I forgot to do that. So right now, riding around with Freedom Flyer as we go back for what looks to be probably a second qualifying session, I would have to suggest. From the looks of things. As first car to get a lap in will be Jackson Altman this time in the Tide 21 car. A actually really nice scheme incorporating the Tide colors into that car for Pagoet. Right behind him is Hale State in the Porsche. And perhaps maybe even getting a toe off of him down the long straightaways at Daytona. Altman backs off, didn't feel like he had the lap, and will give the lead spot to Hale State now. 40 opening laps of qualifying. Through the bus stop chicane, one of the big areas of the track. You got to get through here nicely on entry and exit, as leading in and out of the two fastest part of the tracks. As basically that's only there to break up the huge straightaway, so you really got to be wary of how you take that corner. That is, as we say in the business, one that can determine lap time around here, how well you can get through there. Hale State puts the first lap up a 1:49.4 to take the pole position. Steezy currently at P2 in the 150s. Jackson Altman will likely be heading for another lap right here. And then fourth on the grid right now is Eric's Moose, who is back at the chicane. As you get to see the airplane lane now in the distance. The scenery at Daytona is always something to look at as well. You have Lake Lloyd out there, you have the carnival wheels, you have the airplanes off in the distance. You have a brilliant weather in the day for everything as well. But now Moose coming through, and he'll put it on pole for now with a 1:47.9. So that's your current best. Now Latifi, who was up there for most of the session before with that slap, comes through here with a 1:46.2. That was just about as fast as we've seen Sikkim hit before, so speed from the Jaguars once again. And Clay puts it P4 out of the cars on track and sliding down the grid as Blade now comes across the line. Only a slight bit off of Eric's Moose this time, and Allen comes through and beats Moose as he gets down to the 147.6. Now he has killed it into the inside wall at turn 1. Bit too aggressive on the throttle. And issues going on there. Fistbuster's now a new P2 car with a 147.493 in his McLaren, based off of the old McLaren F1 cars of the early 2010s and late 2000s that you would see Lewis Hamilton drive. Let's see if he could put up a drive worthy of the Maestro, as they call him. Nobes rooting for the Canadian, and Nicholas Latifi, who has the pole spot. Moose also Canadian in the field. As we continue to ride along with the Vodafone McLaren of Fistbuster at this moment in time. Or perhaps we'll look out at Blade, who is looking to come across. He's going to pull it down pit road and take fresh tires, and like we were mentioning earlier in the broadcast, perhaps try to keep the fuel lower to go for a faster lap. Now we've yet to see Sikkim put a lap in, or Freedom Flyer to, oh, it looks like he's going to come across the line right here on good pace at the moment. Don't think it'll be pole, but it will be fairly close. It will be P2 for him at the moment with a 147.101, and Jaguar currently 1-2 on the qualifying front. Now as we we'll go through the track right here with we'll go with Clay in the Renault. Turn 1, a very hard braking zone to get right, as you could find yourself over braking yourself there very easily or locking up the car. Now down at turn 3, the International Horseshoe, one of the more famous corners on the road course part of the track. Very easy to get the power down too much there as well. Through the dogleg now towards the West Horseshoe, as another spot where you could easily get too much power down, and now a huge spot for your lap time, getting out of the in and out of turn number 6, back up onto the NASCAR part of the track through NASCAR 1 and 2, and they'll head down the backstretch where they'll barrel down towards that backstretch chicane that can catch out so many through here, with a nice shot heading from Lake Lloyd into the braking zone, a hard braking zone, on one of the hardest on the track. Get a good run out of there, and then it's through NASCAR 3 and 4, and that will be the lap around the Daytona road course. So in the meantime, while we were looking, Fistbuster has taken back second place with a 146. Freedom Flyer now also down to 146 with a 146.727. Those are the 3 cars down in that range at the moment, and then Allen, the fastest of the 147s, with a 147.6. As he's on another flyer at the moment. Oh, Freedom Flyer is around, out of the West Horseshoe. Fistbuster out on his outlap. Crossed the line right there for Latifi, and he gets 9/1000 of a second off his pole time with the run right there, and now parks it in the infield as we are coming up on as we'll probably be getting to the last of the runs right here. Outlap for Fistbuster, outlap for Ubi as well. Blade just made it a 147.5 for him for Team SLP in the Hyundais, or Hyundai. Fistbuster now goes for his probably his final flying lap. Allen through here in the 146s, with a 146.785. Puts him right there with Freedom Flyer in terms of pace. Ubi in the Ford GT. He's on his outlap. Moose can improve. Neither can play Kush Knight in a Krispy Kreme rental. Going to be the next one to finish a lap as Sikkim, aka Sinker, gets a 146.491 to put him P3. A quick flip through the field. Knight backed out, so next one to finish the lap will be the McLaren of Fistbuster. And he'll be followed by Jackson in the Pagoet. Fistbuster with a nice run through there. 3 seconds off his last lap though, so I doubt he improves time. As it looks like Jackson will be the last one to come and complete a lap, perhaps around for qualifying, as the racing will get started up in any time now. 8:25 the lobby will. The times will be frozen and you'll have what you'll have. 150 from Jackson Altman. Doesn't improve on his time from earlier, and likely he'll be towards the back half of the grid, but he could easily make his way up with good race strategy. Sikkim right here, fastest lap, a 145.8. An absolute blinding lap from Sikkim. First time we've seen 145 get hit, and he gets it in just in time. The lobby will be set right here. Outlap for Allen, but I doubt he makes it enough. He's going to pull down to the pit lane. No one's really going for laps at the moment. So Sikkim starting from the front. Okay, 145.8. As we catch the drivers having a bit of fun before we get into the racing action from Daytona International Speedway on the road course. And yep, it's a bunch of donuts everywhere. Where's the Krispy Kreme car? But now we got to look at the field. Sikkim on pole Latifi second, Fistbuster third, Freedom Flyer fourth, Allen fifth, Ubi sixth, Blade seventh, Moose eighth, Misopes ninth, Clay 10th, Kush Knight 11th, Steezy 12th, Hailsay 13th, Jackson 14th. As they'll roll up to the start, they're going to start right away here. And we are green from Daytona. Sikkim leads the field down in the turn one, with the Jaguar of Nicholas Latifi behind him, followed by Fistbuster and Freedom Flyer. Through the first turn, everyone looks to have made it through cleanly. Now down towards the International Horseshoe. Cars in the line. Ubi thought about making a move. Now Freedom Flyer gets side by side with Fistbuster for third. Who's going to win out that drag race for the last podium spot already on lap one? Freedom Flyer working around the outside of the dogleg. He gets the move done. And will keep the spot through the West Horseshoe. As the cars drive through, Allen gets a bit wide and gets passed by the Ford GT of Ubi. That'll put Team SLP 6th and 7th together. Now Draft's going to play into the favor of Nicholas Latifi, who's taking the lead of the race from the Draft. And Freedom Flyer's also gone through in the second Jaguar. Now Latifi leads the field back through NASCAR 3 and 4. And it will be a lap lead for Latifi off the start. From P2, gets the pass done before the bus stop and takes the lead. Now Freedom Flyer dives it really hard into the corner. Sikkim has dropped tremendously, starting out front from. Oh, now he's gotten into the Hyundai of Allen, and that is massive as both of them will drop down the grid. Back to 10th and 12th. Now 13th for Sikkim. A huge setback early on for the Porsche and the Hyundai. Now back out front. Freedom Flyer goes wide at the in and out, and Ubi's going to take advantage and move the Ford GT into second place. Latifi's got about over a second lead now through the infield that time, but will the speed of the Ford GT start running down? He's got to have a lot of straightaway speed down for this section of the racetrack. And Ubi, a good driver as any through the bus stop as well. He's gained massive time on him through there that time. Don't think he'll be able to make a move per se on the Jaguar, but he is coming down now to less than half a second. And the Jaguar Freedom Flyer following. Meanwhile, back for fourth place, Fistbuster with Blade all over his bumper. Ubi for the lead of the race, around the outside. He gets it done at the line, and he'll take the lead and fastest lap of the race so far. Ubi still working through the field. Still he's going to have a comfortable time leading the field, but as we've seen, the leader out of the in and out has not been the leader back to the line by any stretch of the imagination on both laps so far. So we'll see if the draft's really playing into effect here or something, and it's preventing the leader from really getting out to a huge lead through that. Right now, top five bumper to bumper to bumper with each other before a gap grows back to sixth place, about hovering around 2 seconds back to Moose and the McLaren in sixth place. And the field trails off into a second pack from there with Masopes leading in P7. Freedom Flyer must have gone wide out of the in and out again as he loses 2 spots, this time to Fistbuster and Blade. Ubi out front, but losing time to Latifi here. But now the Ford GT gains down the straightaway on the Jaguar. They'll make it through. Ubu now with the better run in the faster car out of the chicane and will grow his lead substantially. Up to 0.8 of a gap now. Meanwhile, bumper to bumper for 3rd place. Fistbuster getting pushed by Blade. Freedom Flyers back to 6 after perhaps a bit of an inconsistent moment down at the bus stop chicane. Losing out to Moose. Let's the field cycle through. Freedom Flyer out in the grass, having a lawn mower session. And has just parked it now, and the field will go by, and that's costly. And oh, there's a car. And Freedom Flyer has parked the car from 6th place. A engine failure from the 79 Motorsports Jaguar. And that is absolutely huge, as he was running in the top 6 in a good points position. Oh, the Reynolds pushed down the grass. Hail State gets into him. It was one of them at least. One of the Porsches gets into the Renault and causes a bit of time loss for him. Back out at the front of the field. Still Ubi and Latifi maintaining a little less than a second lead for Ubi, and about a 2.5 back to 3rd from 2nd to 3rd, who are still bump drafting each other down the straightaway, trying to get all the speed they can from that. Perhaps learning from the Oval Expedition a week ago how pivotal bump drafting can be, as they are making speed on the Jaguar, but not on the Ford GT, interestingly enough. Also gotta be wary if the Team SLP Hyundai gets in a bit too hard and perhaps bumps the McLaren. Now on to lap 5 of the race. Still a lead for the Ford GT. To bego it, started last in 14th place, has made his way up the field. Jackson Altman in P6 at the moment, Steezy 7th. So Jay Alton racing with a impressive drive back up through the field, just having consistent laps being put down, and also way faster than they were in qualifying as well. Jay Alt up an entire second on his qualifying lap already by lap 4. Cycling through the rest of the field, and Reynolds around again. As he'll pull it back out after spinning under braking into the West Horseshoe. That is Clay. Now Latifi's dropped off of the Ford GT, and perhaps maybe in a bit of pressure from the McLaren of Fistbuster now for 2nd place. In the range of the draft and coming. Now less than 0.4 of a second. He'll get there before the line, perhaps even before the exit of NASCAR turn 4. Where does he go? He looks like he'll just push the Jaguar and see if they can make time on the Ford GT. And fastest lap of the race right there as well at 1:47.253 for Fistbuster. On that impressive lap, and now Fistbuster takes 2nd as Latifi goes wide at turn 1. We talked about in pre-race how that is a difficult corner to get right, especially 25 times in a row, and he couldn't, just overdrives it a little bit right there. So that gives 2nd place to Fistbuster, Ford Fusion Autosport. How will Latifi try to recover now through the West Horseshoe? And a car around Clay again at turn 1. So not a race to remember for him. Sikkim trying to work his way back up through the field after his earlier incident with Allen. Currently P8 and has gotten cleanly, hopefully, around the Team SLP Hyundai. I can never pronounce that car, that manufacturer. But looking through the field, it's definitely devolved into 2 packs but even then, this second pack about a second gap away from just about everyone, and then 2.5 from Moose's off of Blade. So, just looking around, this battle for 9th seems to be the best one on the track at the moment, as now Allen coming up with the draft of the Mazda, and will take the 9th spot away for now. Team FIWB Motorsports, owned by Ballstick, and I think it's Ballstick that owns that team, I want to say, or Masopes, or JoJo. It could be any one of those 3, to be completely honest with you. Meanwhile, up at the front, Fistbuster's there. He's closed the gap to less than 2/10 on his bumper. And the field behind definitely wants to see a battle start between these two, as that would give them help. But meanwhile, they're side by side for 3rd as well. Fistbuster round the outside to in and out, and will take the lead of the race, and will have the run out the corner. Meanwhile, back for 3rd, Latifi currently holds the spot, but will have the Team SLP Hyundai right there, and now to the outside he goes. They're side by side out of NASCAR turn 2, and this could very well be the last of the late breaker situation down to the hairpin. Not hairpin, bus stop. But it looks like Team SLP will get out in front anyways. Does Latifi try to set up a run to try to get the spot back? Oh, he looks like he went a bit too deep and just loses time off the exit that time. Meanwhile, Ubi just losing a drastic amount of time. Over a second difference now for the Ford GT. Perhaps, maybe even different tires being ran. As well, the degradation's actually not bad for the 2 front runners. The worst degradation comes from P3 and P4, Blade and Latifi, who seem to have ran softs for this race at the start. Well, Ubi and Fistbuster ran much harder compounds, whether that's a medium or hard tire. And now Moose has caught the back of the battle for 3rd, now 2nd actually. If you look at it, he's also with very fresh tires. Fistbusters got the lead and hopped out to 3 seconds by the time they go through the same corner. He took the lead the last lap. And now Ubi is in trouble from behind once more, with Blade and Latifi and Moose right there. Moose will take 4th place for Latifi, and 2nd place goes to Team SLP Hyundai of Ecos Blade. And now a gap forming between both those drivers, as now the Hyundai will have to try to make a rundown of the leader, the McLaren of Fistbuster, who's now out to 3.5 seconds, and put in lap times we were seeing in qualifying lap after lap from the McLaren. As now lap traffic also gets into the mix now with the 13th place car of Clay at the tail end of the field. About a few seconds off the leader. So how will they... There are blue flags here, so navigating traffic won't be the worst issue in the world. But still something to keep an eye on. Meanwhile, battle for 7's taking place. Porsche of Sikkim. A little bit of bumper use there. Closes off the door and will take P7 in one fellow swoop at the International Horseshoe. Moose has now gone by Ubi in that other McLaren. So Fusion Autosport have come through the field. And now could very well be looking at P2. With the shot from Lake Lloyd down to the bus stop. They keep it going for now. Moose with a way better exit of the bus stop chicane and will take second with ease out of it and take P2. Putting Fusion Autosport in a 1-2 position at the moment as we complete lap number 9 of 25. The battle's going on behind. Latifi, does he try to outbrake the Ford GT right here? Try to get a spot back that he lost earlier. Gets right to the bumper, so a move can very well be coming for the Jaguar. Where does he make it though now? Looking at the outside, out the International Horseshoe gets the job done with a late break move. Does the Ford GT have a run out the corner to fight back? No, he doesn't, and will lose the spot. A great overtake around the outside right there for the Jaguar as he sets his sights now on Blade in P3. And the fuel now getting put to the limit for some of these guys up front. In fact, we expect Moose and Fistbuster to perhaps take it in this lap and fill her up. Now ideally you would want the fuel to split it halfway, but so now the management of fuel perhaps from guys like Latifi, who still has quite a decent amount in the tank as he gets around for P3 on Blade. But you're just looking now at his fuel playing a critical situation in the outcome of this race. Moose at the very edge of the fuel. And will be coming in this lap, same with Fistbuster, to make a pit stop, fill her up, and try to make it to the end of the race with 15 laps to go. And that will be a very hard test to do if you were the two leaders coming through that time. Latifi now with provisional P1. Well, currently P1 with the pit cycle going through. In the Jaguar. With pressure from the Team SLP Hyundai up late behind. And Ubi about a second and change off of them. Sikkim has moves in the 4th place after getting around Jackson Altman in a Peugeot tied car. Allen in 6th, Masop 7th, Hale State 8th. And then behind them, you should see you'll see Moose exit pit road. Moose is out pit road. And we don't necessarily know where Fistbuster is. Now this was something that was brought up in the Group 4 race where he was still putting out laps and keeping position, but us in the booth couldn't really see him, as now a second retiree has come about. It is the Renault of Clay, retiring to P13. Latifi still maintains the lead of the race, with Blade behind him now. The fuel supply for the cars still out on track, getting low themselves, but this is more of a split halfway where they can make it with this if they fill it up and do what they did before with fuel. Whatever mode they put it in. Jackson Altman in his lap. Still, the best car on fuel by far would be Sikkim in the Porsche. Perhaps saving enough fuel to make a hard charge at the lead for the last run. Masoup's also has yet to hit the warning sort of area of like the last 20% of his fuel. He could probably go at least 2 more, perhaps even make a 3 himself, and also be full push mode for the end of the race. It is shown Eric's Moose as the car currently P8, but also looking fistbuster. I think has likely taken that spot and the spot of Hale State. And you can actually get a look right here. He's on mode 5 of 6. Mode 1's the fastest. So, as Blade has ran out and is slow on track. Blade with a costly error runs out of fuel coming to the end of lap 12. Trying to manage it, and he's now going to lose a ton of time as he hits the pit lane. And that leads Sikkim with Allen out front. Allen looking to make it 1 more, but he's going to have to take it nice and easy himself if he wants to make it back around. Sikkim, as we mentioned earlier, however, in terms of fuel, while the top 3 still the ones out. Fistbuster should be provisional, should be P4 at the moment. If Latifi's showing 12, but I think that will change in a moment. As we'll just have to figure out this entire sort of fuel window sort of deal. Season went short on fuel, perhaps going to run it more conservative and have less fuel, have the car turn better down in the infield. And you just look at how much Blade lost from running out of fuel back behind Jackson Altman. Currently, what we would say is P10 at this moment in time, with still 3 drivers to pit, including Allen right here. The Hyundai is in as we now make it to the night portion of the race. Nice day and night transition. Lovely to see the cars in a new light. As now Moose gets around the Soaps. Latifi gets a proper showing of his position on track. And we're good. We're just worried about where perhaps the McLaren of Fistbuster is. That'll be to be determined. But meanwhile, back out front, Sikkim still last car yet to pit. But he is low on fuel himself and will be coming in likely this time, I would suppose, making an 11 lap run to the end of the race for him. Fire Slayer, who just got podium in the Group 4 race, chiming in the chat. Lovely to see him there. As Sikkim makes his scheduled pit stop to make it to the end of the race. And once we see where he pops out, we'll get an idea where everyone is on track. As I believe it still should be Fistbuster in the McLaren. It'll show Moose and for the time being, but we do have to consider where the cars are in relation. So now getting down to the nitty-gritty of the race. Already Moose down close to half a tank of gas. Yeah, it has no sound to come. It's also commenting on the amount of bugs. Hopefully the developers will get on some of these issues sooner rather than later, as we get to see more traffic as well coming right in time for the end. The last 10 laps of this race. We believe Fistbuster is out somewhere in the lead as and I can't tell if those two are having a meet and greet on the front stretch or they just having an ish. Well, it looks like Masopes ran out and Cushionite's being a good fellow and pushing him around. I love the sportsmanship there. So out of the gas goes the Mazda. As we'll see where he chimes out. Right now, looking at lap times, it still should be Fistbuster in the McLaren out front and has probably increased his gap over Moose for second. But the issue is, how will they fare on fuel? They both pitted really early, around lap 10, and already half tank for Moose in the McLaren. He's going to have to be in fuel save mode for the rest of this race if he wants to make it to the end. He has 9 seconds to work with, and Fistbuster even more. But as you say, the lap time difference just from drivers trying to take it easy on the gas. 149s and 148s for Moose, and down to 151s for Latifi since he's come out pit road. Sikkim right there as well into the mix now in P3. He's come back all the way from issues early in the race. He is currently in what should be 5th. That'll be your top 5. Steezy has gone around from 6th place. He's parked on the grass. Oh, he gets hit by his teammate. And in the grass goes Altman. The Pagoas are sabotaging each other out there. But they still have plenty of distance back to Blade, who's in provisional P8. And Hale stays around turn 1. And now second's gone around Latifi for third place. So now the hunt is on for the Porsche with the best fuel situation in the field. And he's likely put on the sauce as well. Happy hunting to you, my friend. Go get him. Meanwhile, fourth place is not going to let up either, as Latifi's going to have to defend it against Ubi. Ubi goes to the outside and will take the spot away, down before turn 1. Ubi will take the lap. As just doing the math now, it looks like Fistbuster should have about a 15-second lead over Moose, which would give him 25 over Sinker, aka Sikkim. Far from enough time to gap the Porsche if you're going to have to make a second stop, but nonetheless, a second stop will be made, as now Masopes is the latest driver to pull out of the race in P12. So casualties left, right, and center, as Kush and I unreasonably low on fuel, perhaps pitted early and will just take the 2 stop. And Steezy's around again at the same spot he just spun out the last lap. And now Blade will get by the Pagoet. Meanwhile, the action back out front. Ubi also looking to start maybe getting into push mode, try to stay close to the Porsche, as he knows that is the car to beat for the end of this race. Eric's Moose about that's maybe 25% on fuel. Well, a little bit more, but he is in a dire situation.